CBS News Bay Area Afternoon Edition with Ann Mekovic.
Right now on the afternoon edition, good news. If you're looking to borrow money, the Federal Reserve is cutting interest rates again. Thanks for joining us this Wednesday. The Fed has cut the key interest rate for the third meeting in a row, this time by another 0.25%. But it was not unanimous. 3 Fed officials voting no. Let's go to the big board right now to see how Wall Street is reacting to this move. Positively, the Dow is up more than 500 points. This rate drop means lower borrowing costs over time for things like your credit card, car loan, and some mortgages. The Fed is also signaling that it might be leaving rates alone in the coming months. So this might be it. We're going to keep an eye on the markets as the day continues. The other big story we're following right now, an end to that teacher strike in the East Bay. The West Contra Costa School District and Teachers Union negotiated into the early morning hours today and came out with a tentative agreement. Here is what we know about this 2-year deal. All educators would get an 8% raise. 100% fully paid family health care by 2027, retention bonuses for new teachers, especially in special education, and a district-sponsored pathway for international teachers to end up with permanent residency. So the agreement still has to be voted on and ratified by union members and the school board. But kids are going to be back in the classroom starting tomorrow. Union leaders call the deal a win for students, teachers, and the future of public education. The district releasing a statement saying that they're relieved the strike is over and students and teachers can be reunited. Meanwhile, today in the Oakland Unified School District, they are expected to vote on a final plan to solve that budget crisis. They need to cut $100 million from next year's budget to avoid a state takeover. School leaders are considering laying off staff at the central office, along with other steep cuts. And in the North Bay, tonight, the Santa Rosa City School Board will be weighing some tough budget choices. The district has to cut $2.8 million to avoid running out of cash next year. Last spring, they shut down 6 schools and laid off 150 staffers. That saved $7 million, but the deficit still stands at almost $20 million. For the second time this year, a federal judge is ordering the Trump administration to end its deployment of California National Guard troops in Los Angeles. That would hand control of the troops back to the governor. A federal judge based in San Francisco ruled the federal government kept the troops in L.A. illegally and actually made the situation worse. The Trump administration sent several thousand Guard troops there to deal with protests over immigration raids in June, saying they were needed to protect federal property. Governor Gavin Newsom sued and filed a new request for an injunction last month. The Trump administration is expected to appeal today's decision. Starting today, there are new ways to pay for public transit in the Bay Area. 24 transit systems are now allowing tap and ride, where people can use their credit and debit cards to pay their fares.
This is a major win for San Francisco and the Bay Area as we gear up to host visitors for Super Bowl 60 and FIFA World Cup. This upgrade gives visitors the kind of experience they should and do expect from San Francisco.
Our Veronica Macias was out talking with riders about the new system and how it could even save some money.
I use my debit card for the first time with Apple Pay, so it's super efficient. I'm a fan of it.
Getting around the Bay Area is now a lot easier for people. The next generation Clipper card launching today by the Metropolitan Transportation Commission. It's modernizing things and making it way more convenient. Across the board, trains, buses, and ferries in the Bay Area, from BTA, Muni, and AC Transit, joining BART's tap and ride system with debit and credit card access.
Also helps people that are visiting the city, just because like if you're only here for a couple of days, getting a Clipper card can be a little bit of like just an extra step that keeps you from getting around the city easily.
For riders who use more than one transit agency in the Bay, the update includes a discount. Say you're going from BART to Muni. Riders will only pay for the first leg of the trip as long as that transfer is made within a 2-hour window. It's saving people $2 and some change. The added feature seems to make commuters convinced it definitely beats driving.
Because at least you're on there and you've got Wi-Fi and you can sit, I've got my laptop in my bag, I can do some work. Whereas if I'm stuck on there, then I'm just stuck in the car. So yeah, this is like, that's why I have all this stuff with me, because I can work and then I can go to the gym and then I can kind of cycle back afterwards.
Gone are the days when riders waited days for money to show up on their account. The next generation system is cloud-based and allows for instant reloads, plus the ability to manage multiple accounts for families. All the changes could add to a steady growth in ridership, because even when there are outages and problems on some of the transit agencies, people say this is a sign of better things to come for San Francisco.
I love to see all the stuff that's happening, especially in Union Square, all the pop-ups happening. And so I think people have kind of gotten over the, ooh, San Francisco's awful, and it's starting to bounce back. And people are feeling a little bit more open to coming and maybe commuting more. And then, of course, everyone having to go back to the office makes a difference, too.
The switch to Clipper 2.0 will take about 8 to 12 weeks for all riders, but anybody can switch immediately by upgrading online or by calling Clipper customer service, old school. Let's take a live look outside right now. We are following moderate to unhealthy air quality around the Bay. The Air District has not called a spare the air alert, but it's been a rough go in some neighborhoods inland. Let's bring in First Alert meteorologist Jessica Birch. What is going on?
Well, right now what we're noticing, and this is going to be the case as we head into the next couple of days too, we're either sitting in that moderate to unhealthy for sensitive groups category. Of course, when the stagnant weather pattern with the lack of heavy winds doesn't really help assist this, or at least clear us up over into the East Bay where we've been dealing with foggy, cool conditions. What we're noticing right now is those PM 2.5 levels are a little bit higher. So that's why we're seeing unhealthy categories all the way over into the East Bay, moderate, widespread from the North Bay down into the Santa Clara Valley. And that's been the case in the past 24 hours. We're continuing to notice that into the forecast into the evening hours tonight. Now into the evening hours tonight, those East Bay communities are still dealing with that stubborn tule fog spilling in from the Sacramento Valley. Around 4 o'clock, that's when it's expected to start to lift and clear up. We're going to catch a nice break in the forecast before it starts to fill the Bay once again into the overnight hours tonight. We do have some small changes in the forecast as we head into the next 7 days. I'm going to time that out for you coming up in just a bit. But for now, back to you.
All right, thanks, Jess. With next year's midterm elections less than a year away, both parties are talking about affordability. President Trump defended his economic agenda at an event in Pennsylvania.
And I have no higher priority than making America affordable again. That's what we're going to do.
Government data shows the inflation rate had been falling at the beginning of the year, but began slowly rising again this spring, around the time President Trump imposed widespread tariffs.
Donald Trump and Republicans have done nothing to lower the high cost of living. Housing costs, out of control. Electricity costs, out of control. Child care costs, out of control.
Democratic leaders in Congress have also warned of rising health care premiums, with Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies set to expire at the end of the year. Tomorrow, the Senate will vote on dueling proposals to address that issue. We'll be covering that. A new report might have you thinking twice about some of those grocery delivery services. A Consumer Reports investigation found that Instacart customers were paying different prices for the same groceries based on an AI pricing system. At some stores and for some customers, the price was up to 23% more. That study sent hundreds of volunteers to buy identical baskets on Instacart from Safeway and Target, and then compared all the prices. Instacart told CBS News 10 of their retail partners are using pricing experiments, but didn't say which ones. Still ahead here at noon and streaming on CBS News Bay Area, a Grinch has been snatching decorations off of lawns in the South Bay, and it looks like they have a type. Have more on the targets. And later, meet the coach coming across the pond to coach Bay FC Soccer Club. Well, I try to avoid cliches on this newscast, but this next story is actually about a real-life Grinch. A family in San Jose spent hours getting their Christmas lawn decorations just right. And look what happened. Their Ring camera caught somebody grabbing the decorations. The couple says the thieves were going after more of their big-ticket items, ones that are Disney-themed, and they soon learned that they weren't the only house targeted.
I initially posted it on Ring, and within the day, I had gotten another post on Ring of somebody so clearly in the same neighborhood that had said the same thing, and it was, I noticed a Disney item as well.
Police in San Jose say they don't know who this person is. They are still on the loose. Back to our first alert forecast right now, taking a live look outside. Clear conditions, relatively speaking, in the city, but it's those inland locations we have been talking about, that nasty air quality. And it's just cold all around, Jessica.
Cold all around. The PM 2.5 levels, that's how we track the air quality, are high right now. It's been a very interesting forecast for us, but it's still a dry one, widespread throughout the bay. Now, earlier this morning, that delta was just filled with fog, and we're still seeing more of that into the next couple hours. Daytime highs, as we zoom all the way over into the East Bay today, sitting in the 40s. In places like Antioch, 50s, stretched all the way over to Concord, 50s up into Napa, Sonoma, and 60s all the way down into the Santa Clara Valley throughout this afternoon. It's actually a beautiful day for us along the coast today. 65 degrees in Half Moon Bay. That's significantly warmer compared to our friends over in Antioch. So all of our microclimates are really doing their own thing. But along that coastline, we still have a beach hazard statement highlighted in blue below me. That's issued by the National Weather Service. And it's a friendly reminder that we have rip currents and sneaker waves, so it's a good idea to be very careful out there along the shoreline. If you like taking your dog to Fort Funston to get some fresh air along the sand, make sure they have a leash, or they're on a leash, I should say. The reason why I say that is because if they get in the water, that could be a little bit dangerous for those pups. Here's what's happening for us as we head outside today. A couple changes that we want to talk about today over in the East Bay. We went from a moderate category yesterday all the way to an unhealthy category for sensitive groups for our air quality. And so we're monitoring that closely as we head into the next 24 hours. That's the trend into the evening hours tonight, as winds and the weather pattern are relatively stagnant. Now over into the East Bay we go. That cloud coverage is stubborn today. It's going to take around 4 or 5 o'clock until it starts to lift a bit. But then at that point, relative humidity starts to increase. We actually start to see more of that fog form into the overnight hours tonight, early morning hours tomorrow. Let's take a look at the next 7 days while we're at it. Upper 50s and lower 60s in store for us each day throughout the bay. Partly cloudy skies as we head into this weekend, but there's a chance of showers returning as early as next Monday and Tuesday. That's what we're tracking closely here in the Weather Center. And here's a couple other things we want to talk about too. Our inland forecast still holding on tight to low 50s each day, but we will start to notice baby warm up in the forecast as we head into early next week. By Monday and Tuesday at the same time, showers are possible. So a little bit of a change in the forecast around the corner, but hey, at least we had dry weather for Thanksgiving, dry weather all week. Now it's going to look a little different heading into next week. Back to you.
Bay Area food banks have been stretching to meet the needs of members of the community, and a lot of people are stepping up to help. Max Darrow was there for a special presentation at Second Harvest of Silicon Valley.
Right now, Second Harvest of Silicon Valley is trying to accommodate even more of a need than they've ever dealt with before, and they have fewer resources than ever. 500,000 people a month rely on their services all across San Mateo and Santa Clara counties, and they're able to help out thanks to generous volunteers and donations like from Scouting America. So I have Robert, Celeste, and Ron here. You guys have a check for almost $16,000. How good does it feel to make a difference in your own backyard?
Feels wonderful to make a difference in our communities. We have families that also need this support, so it's one of the things that we are glad that we can participate and support.
What is a lesson you'd want someone to take away from this effort you guys have come forward with?
You know, I think every one of us can make a difference, no matter how large or small. And for us as an organization, this is one of the key pillars as far as doing a good turn daily. And this is just one of those things that we get to do to help our community. So very important for us to do that.
I love that idea that every single person can make a difference, no matter how big or how small. Let's bring in Shobana Gooby now from Second Harvest of Silicon Valley. That concept, everyone can make a difference, no matter how big or small. Talk to me about that concept here.
Absolutely. So from fundraising, like this amazing result that they've had, to volunteering, every single person can make a difference. And look what they've done. That's enough to provide nearly 30,000 meals.
Thank you for giving us that insight, Shobana. And if you'd like to make a difference at home, head to our website, kpix.com/give, or scan the QR code on your screen.
And we'd love you to join us for our holiday special, Stories of Hope. That's Christmas night, 7 p.m. You can see the inspiring stories behind the effort to feed families across the Bay Area. Still ahead here on CBS News Bay Area, the 49ers are 6th in their division. Vern Glenn looks at the lineup and their postseason chances in our Red and Gold reports. New at noon, we got our first introduction to Bay FC's new coach, Emma Coates. Coates is right now the head coach of the England women's under-23 team. She led them to an undefeated season last year. Coates talked about her goals for Bay FC.
And I think the bit that I really want to implement is that how do we play with variety and how do we create a style of play that suits the identity of the club, but the players that we have, it brings out the best of them.
Look, Coates has to stay in England to finish the season with her English team, but Bay FC says they're going to make more staffing announcements soon. 49ers getting ready for the Titans this weekend, but Vern Glenn is looking ahead to the playoffs. He breaks down what they need to do to get to the preseason or to get to the postseason, rather, in a Red and Gold report.
This is the Audi Red and Gold report.
The 49ers are well-rested after a much-deserved bye week. But now, it's time to lock in for the last 4 games of the regular season. The Niners aren't looking ahead, but they've got the P word in their sights.
Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
At 9-4, the Niners currently sit in 6th place in the conference after Chicago lost on Sunday. Detroit is just 1 game back of that final wildcard spot, but winning the division is still in play. San Francisco is just 1 back of the Rams and Seahawks with 4 games remaining.
You know, it's like a joyful feeling to be able to keep doing what you love, playing football.
It's just a lot better coming into work every day knowing like we can make a push for the Super Bowl and the playoffs. Like, I've never been to the playoffs before, so I'm excited. But we got to make a strong surge the next 4 weeks.
If a team can help us, I'm rooting for them to win, yeah. But as a team, we can't get caught up in that. We just gotta do what we can control. You hate to put your fate in somebody else's hands.
With the Red and Gold report, I'm Vern Glenn.
Well, coming up, it's not a bull in a china shop. It is a deer in a Christmas store. We're going to show you where he got stuck and how they got him out. Oh.
Let me jump through here. I got it.
You got it? Oh, we take this Oh, no, it's a poor deer in distress. Yeah, forget about Santa down the chimney. This is a deer through the front door of a Christmas store in Tennessee. Police were called to the shop on account of this wayward animal, and while exploring the store, the buck got stuck in a chair. They got him loose, though. No worries. He's okay. He was released back into the night and ran away. Just a little bit of trauma, I'm sure. That is it for the afternoon edition. Remember, we are streaming 24/7 on the free CBS News app. Just go to Live and then choose Bay Area.